Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to today's AWS session on incident response. It's good to have everyone live here today. It's been an amazing session all the way up until today, where we are having our series 13. It's been a great journey from series 1, 2, 3 to 13, and we are not stopping here. We are going all on. So it's good to have everyone here. So I know some persons are just joining while we have more people join. So we'll just take some minutes to just have more people join the space so we can have a fuller house before we introduce our hot guest. Not just a guest, we have a very hot guest on seat today to really teach us and bless us with a lot of knowledge and make sure that we are more grounded in this space of security and threat detection. But before then, I would like to just say a big hello to everyone and would like to know where everyone is watching or streaming from. For myself, I'm Samuel Joseph, a cloud and DevOps engineer, and it's good to be your moderator for today. Yeah. So if you're here, just on the chat, you can put it there. Let me see where you're chatting from and where you're live from. So please feel free to just add where you're chatting from. I'd love to see and I'd love to know the persons that are live with us today for today's session. Yeah. Okay. Do we have some persons in the house already? Oh, I can see Evasoro Olakunle from Lagos. It's good to have you here with us. I know you've been following for a while and you've actually gained a whole lot. Same with every other person that has been in this section. So who else is in the room? Who else we want us to know where they are streaming from? If you are streaming, we have people streaming from all over the world, but from Lagos, from uh, Abuja, Port Harcourt, all over Nigeria, and even from outside Nigeria, from the US, from the UK, from Europe, Asia, wherever you're streaming from America, please just let us know because this is also a global standard meeting where skills are being honed and being upgraded. So please feel free to make us know where you're streaming from. We'll be happy to share your location with you. So I'm also streaming from Lagos, Nigeria. That's where I'm currently am. Uh, and it's good to be here. So let me see more persons where you're streaming from. Please do let me know. It would be nice to get to know where our guests for today are streaming from. Yeah. Before we move into today's section in full, feel free to use the chat box to just type where you are streaming from. Just let us know where you're streaming from. Yeah, is it just Obasere that we have in the room? Also, we are also just using this few minutes. If you have someone, share the link to your contact on your socials. Hit up a friend, chat them up, let them know the session is about to start. Let them do well to join in. Let them do well to be part of today's I'll say study series and training. It will be a good one. So please do well to invite your friends. Do well to invite your contacts to join us today. We're waiting. We are waiting. We are waiting. We are waiting. Let's do well to join. Let's do well to join. Let's do well to join. Because in a few minutes we will be going live. We will be going live, and we want everyone to join us for today's study series. Okay, let's just give some minutes. Let's just give some minutes before we introduce our guests for today. Okay, I'll just say without wasting more time because we have a lot to do for today. Why everyone is still getting seated and why we are all getting ready for today's study series and training. We have a highly skilled guest for today's training on response and threat detection. His introduction gives him away. We have Mr. Kachi in the house. So, Mr. Kachi basically is an application system auditor, a cloud security analyst, and also an AWS security enthusiast with extensive experience in cloud security, IT, governance, and cyber security. Holding certification including CISA, that's the Certified Information System Auditor, ISO 27001, Lead Auditor, and ISC Square certified in cyber security. He specializes in security in cloud environment, strengthening security controls, and enabling effective threat detection and incident response. He is passionate about educating the tech community on practical cloud security solutions using AWS services. So, with a lot of joy and big welcome, let's make welcome Mr. Kachi as he takes us for today's study series. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Hi, Samuel. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you so much. Um, do we go right into it? So,
yeah, let's just go right
can you hear me?
into it. Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So, once again, it's a privilege to be here. Um,
Yeah,
it's an opportunity, right? Um, okay. So, in today's session, AWS Study Series, we'll be talking about specific tools that we make use of when triaging in cybersecurity. Basically, we're talking about incident management. So if you are familiar with AWS environment, you might have come across some of these tools that I'll be mentioning. Yeah, so I'll in a couple of minutes I'll share my slide and you'll get to see the topic for today. So Samuel, do I just go ahead to share my screen?
yes, you can go ahead to share your screen.
Can
We
you?
have some other persons.
Okay.
Yes, clearly. Yeah, you can go ahead to share your screen.
All right. Also, I was thinking I would. Okay. I was thinking I'll be able to see those people online. I can't like
Uh,
get their.
Not so much. We are currently at the back end, so but they can see you and you're well positioned. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
very well, very well. Thank you.
So just a moment. Allow me. Okay. Please confirm that you can see my screen. Hello. Can anyone?
Yeah, I can see your screen and it's well displayed.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Yes.
So very quickly, today's topic will be incident response and threat detection using GuardDuty, Security Hub, and EventBridge. These are three tools that helps us to triage and quickly attend to incidents in real time. Okay, so I would also like to say it doesn't matter if you are a beginner to AWS or pro level. It doesn't matter. Just need you to run along with me. All right. So, like I already said, Kachi Bezim is my name. Application Systems Audit, Cloud Security Analyst, Certified Information Systems Audit, auditor rather. I've worked with a couple of financial institutions in Nigeria here to help to secure their IT space, right, including cloud and the traditional on-prem. Okay, so what we'll be covering in the next 35 minutes. Basically, we have why incident response matters, meets the trial, which is what I mentioned, the GuardDuty, Security Hub, and EventBridge. These are tools embedded in AWS available to all users. Then we have GuardDuty Deep Dive, Security Hub Deep Dive, EventBridge and Automation, real world scenario. Then we'll have our quiz break. And then I'll give you the best practice and I'll wrap up. So we'll start with why it matters, then meet the three services. We'll go deep on each one, walk through a real incident together, then we'll take a quiz break. I'll close with the best practices. Like I mentioned, you don't need to have prior AWS security experience. I'll explain every time as we go. Okay, so next slide. So there are only two types of companies, those that have been hacked and those that will be. This is like a famous quote from Robert Mueller. I'm not sure anybody here knows him, but then he was a former FBI director. Cloud environments get attacked constantly, and bots scan the internet for open S3 buckets and leaked keys within minutes of exposure. The real differentiator between companies isn't whether they get attacked, it's how fast they notice and respond. That's the whole reason this trio of services exists. Again, GuardDuty, Security Hub, and EventBridge. So this is the old way, how we used to manage incidents. Logs pile up. An analyst has to manually check multiple consoles, then correlate by hand, and by the time they piece it together, real damage may be done. Based on statistics, there are about 10,000 plus alerts for every month for an organization, and nobody can drive such number of alerts manually. And that's why we have these three tools that work hand in hand. Okay. Talk about triaging fatigue. We call alert fatigue rather, where you are having a lot of logs coming in. At some point over time, there's a high tendency that you get to miss the important ones as a result of fatigue. So this is the reason why we have the introduction of these three tools. So in my next slide, I'll be talking about how they link up the three tools. We have GuardDuty, which is supposed to detect threats. So GuardDuty is like a security camera. It's like a security camera system. It never sleeps. Okay, it watches your accounts and raises a hand when it sees something suspicious. And then the next one, Security Hub, which aggregates findings. Okay, so I think maybe I should have explained, briefly what triage means. So triage means basically prioritizing security events, assessing them to know which one poses a threat, and then having to take an action on it as soon as possible, immediately. That's what triage means. In case you've been hearing the word and you probably do not know the meaning. Security Hub here aggregates. An aggregator is basically one that fetches data from different sources and then it normalizes it into one format, and you have it centralized in one point. That is what Security Hub does. So it's like a control room. It takes alerts from GuardDuty, not just GuardDuty, other tools as well. and then it puts them on one screen instead of 10 screens. That is centralization. EventBridge here automates response. So it routes findings to the right action instantly. So it's more of, okay, fine, we've gathered the events, we've gathered the logs into one area, one point, one container. Now the question is, what do we do? There should be an action for it. That is where EventBridge comes in. So EventBridge is like the dispatcher. Okay. So once the control room confirms something is wrong, control room, which is the security hub, right, it decides who or what should respond instantly. So it's more like the eyes, the brain, and the hands. The eyes being the GuardDuty, the brain being the security hub, and then the hands taking action, which is the event bridge. I hope that's as simple as possible. Okay, this slide talks about what it is, that is what GuardDuty is. GuardDuty is serverless and agentless. Now, what does serverless and agentless mean? It means that you flip it on and it starts working immediately. You don't install any software on your servers. It reads logs you are likely already generating. For example, CloudTrail management and data events. CloudTrail is a record of every API call in your account. VPC flow logs is basically a record of network traffic. And then the DNS logs, these are like, it means which domains are resources trying to reach on your cloud, in your cloud environment rather. And then on the right, we have the ML models. The It's not just matching a static block list. It uses machine learning to learn what normal looks like for your account. So it can catch things a fixed rulebook would normally, miss. Okay, and then the next slide, basically, it's finding speak a common language. So there is a naming convention, right? If you look at the top, you see where it says every finding follows this pattern: threat purpose, which is resource type / detailed name. Don't panic about this. It's just like a folder path, right? So I'll just try to walk through the table from top to bottom and then just explain each sentence there. So for recon, right? Recon is just someone scoping you out. Cryptocurrency is someone using your computer to mine coins on their behalf. And this is going to eat into your money, right? And it's one of the most common real world findings. Exfiltration here is basically data quietly leaving your account. So here's a known fact, or let me say seldom known fact, right? 0.1 to 8.9 is a severity score, and it's where the categorization from low to high is usually situated. So we have the low, medium, high labels, and they're just buckets on that scale. Now, here are like a few facts that most people would miss about GuardDuty. So GuardDuty does not take action. It only detects. It does not block or fix anything by itself. That's the bridge into why EventBridge exists. So just hold that thought, right? Because it's important as someone who's like just new to AWS or haven't used this tool before. It's important that you understand the use, the importance of what GuardDuty is used for. Okay, then the next slide. So I kind of like had to come up with an image of how GuardDuty looks like, so you have an idea. So this is what GuardDuty looks like in the console. You have the severity in one column, the finding type, the resource, and then the count. This is, well, for some organizations, depending on the quantity or the load of logs or transactions, they could have far more than this. But this is just like a sample of what it looks like. So this is the screen you triage first. Severity, finding type, affected resource at a glance. Okay, so just to check in, can I still be heard?
Yeah, very well. You can be clearly heard. Clearly,
Okay, all
and I
right,
can see your screen.
all right, cool. So here's roughly what the findings list actually looks like when you log in. Um, this is the exact screen you would open first during a real incident. Let's take notes. Okay, next slide. Now this is your single pane of glass. What Security Hub is. So Security Hub, like I mentioned, is an aggregator. It's not a detector. Please take notes. It doesn't find threats itself. Okay. So I would like to point out the 6 source boxes and explain simply. So it's not just GuardDuty, right? There are other applications, right, that can actually be used as a source. I mean, that can feed data into Security Hub, and they are already like on the screen. We have Inspector. Inspector checks for software vulnerabilities. Okay, and then Mercy, it finds sensitive data like PII in your S3 bucket. And config checks with source configuration drifts. So when you configure and then this drift is going to pick it up and send the log to Security Hub where it gets normalized. Then IAM Access Analyzer checks for risk permissions. So when you grant access to different individuals on your resource, who are people who have been over provisioned, right, and need to be, downgraded or probably reviewed or revoked, it sends a log. You must have, or you may not have heard about AWS security finding formats. It's simply, let me just say, imagine 6 different security tools speaking 6 different languages. So this ASFF is a shared language they all get translated into. So you can compare and sort findings from anywhere in one dashboard. So it's one consistent JSON schema, whatever the source is. That's what the ASFF is. So you see down there results, one dashboard, one severity scale, one place to triage, and instead of 6 browser tabs. This is where, and this is what I talked about when it comes to centralization. Okay, so next slide. One thing I would also like to mention about Security Hub is that it grades your compliance posture. So I would explain compliance standards here. Compliance standards, basically, they are like checklists that auditors and regulators, they do care about. And the Security Hub runs these checks continuously, and gives you a percentage score. So you always know where you stand instead of scrambling before an audit. So if you look at the screen, you see AWS FSBP, Foundational Security Best Practices. This is AWS own baseline. Then the CIS AWS Foundation, this is the industry standard hardening benchmark. And then there's PCI DSS, that's if your organization processes card and payment data. There's NIST 853. It's common for government and regulated workloads. Okay, so next slide. This is what it looks like in the console when you log into your console. Right? You will find out, you see the rating for FSBP, which is the Foundation Security Best Practice. That's AWS own baseline. So you see your compliance status. Then you see CIS AWS foundations. You see the open findings that are still open. Again, this is just an example of what it looks like, depending on the load of data you process in your organization. Okay. If there's time, I would like to share like a couple of images of the kind of screen you should be expecting for this for the different tools. Okay, so you see here severity, the title, and then where it is coming from. So, like I mentioned, Security Hub pulls data from different sources. So, if there's a log from GuardDuty, it states the severity and it states the title. Here it says the EC2 instance communicating with crypto mining pool. And where did you get that data from? The sources from GuardDuty. So it even makes triaging easier. So this is what the dashboard actually looks like. The scores at the top, the findings from multiple sources, and then I would like to point out the three findings shown come from different services, like I mentioned, but it sits in one list. And that's the whole pitch for security in one glance. I hope this is quite easy to understand. Okay. This next slide is about EventBridge. So this is where automation clicks for people. I'll walk from left to right with examples on the slides. So an event arrives, which is a finding. Then the rule you wrote decides if it matters. And if it matches, EventBridge fires one or more targets. So I'd like to emphasize that you write the rule once. After that, matching events are handled in milliseconds, 24/7. Emphasis on this. So without a human in the loop, unless you want one though, so you have to put this in your rule as well. So if event bridge is not just like for security, just to mention that. So many teams also use it to connect everyday app events. But today we are focused on the security use case for event bridge. So this is basically what event bridge looks like. You have on the left the rules being written, and you see it is enabled. Yeah. Then on the right is the target, where you have Lambda and SNS. So a finding comes in on the left, it matches the pattern and fires the target on the right. No human is required. In case you may have heard of Lambda and you don't know what it is about, or SNS, you don't know what it's about if you are new into AWS. So a Lambda is more like where you write, say, programs, maybe using codes like Python. And then SNS is a simple notification service on AWS. So when an event is discovered by EventBridge, the action it takes, it tries to match the event to a particular rule. And then the action that is embedded within the rule will determine what next it does. Here, event pattern, and then the target. Here, the target is the action, where it is heading to, what it is going to do. So this Lambda basically is some kind of a program that helps to isolate EC2 instance on AWS. So when there is maybe a compromise or there is an attack on a particular instance in your environment, you do not want to allow such to creep into other instances. So what you want to do is you want EventBridge to action and isolate that instance so that it will not creep into others. And then it is sending out a notification to the on-call engineer to say, hey, look, there is an identification of a threat. Although the instance has been isolated, but it needs attention in case it is, sorry about that. It needs attention in case it is an important instance that runs certain services that is crucial to the operation of that organization. So that is what happens here. This is the target. It's just a sample. Okay. So on the left is the event pattern. So this is literally the JSON that says only match security hub findings labeled high. Okay. So on the right are the two targets. This row fires a Lambda function and an SNS notification. I just also want to use this moment to reassure that you don't need to be a JSON expert. The console has a visual pattern builder too. So this is just what it generates under the hood. Okay. So the next slide, putting it all together, right? We have GuardDuty, Security Hub, and EventBridge, which is to detect, aggregate, and to route. Yeah. So you see underneath you have Lambda, automate, remediate, isolate the instance, revoke keys, snapshot for forensics. These are like targets. And then you have Slack chatbot maybe to notify the on-call analyst or engineer immediately with full context. And then the step function. So run a multi-step response playbook with approvals if it's needed. Guard duty detects, security hub aggregates and normalizes, then event bridge routes. Lambda for automatic remediation, SNS or Slack or a chatbot for human notification, and then step notification for a multi when you want a human approval step before anything destructive happens. So notice that you get to choose full automation, human in the loop, or a blend. That flexibility, whole point of this conversation. Okay, I hope we are all following. And this is just basically the architecture, putting it all together. So here, this is a scenario, right? I mentioned about walking you through an incident. So walking you through this is a crypto mining EC2 instance. You know, from the top of my head, I'm already thinking, okay, crypto mining EC2 instance is basically just using your compute system to mine crypto, you know, for their own personal gains. So imagine it's, I'll give an example or I'll tell a kind of like story. Imagine it's 2 a.m. An old forgotten EC2 instance still has an IAM key that leaked in a public GitHub repo months ago. An attacker finds it and starts mining crypto on your money. So this is just to paint a picture of an incident that could come up. So I would like to tell you, I'll walk you through the time exactly as it is written here, you know, how long it takes to actually remediate or action this kind of incident. So under 4 minutes is fully automated, and then hours if a human being had to notice this. You know, you had to notice this, you had to log in and manually isolate the box. So this is like a simple or a single memorable, most memorable slide that you should remember, you know, in this conversation. So in case you do not remember anything, this story that I've just, you know, illustrated, what I've just illustrated should help you to remember the relevance of these tools. Okay, so it's quiz time. Um, I want us to do the quiz if I take on the last 3, 4 slides.
Okay, yes, I'm here.
Okay, right. Are you handling the PowerPoint session or?
Okay, let me share my screen for the couch section. Um, let me just share. Yeah, please confirm you can see my screen. So the Kahoot section is red loading. So I believe we all have been able to listen to the training that's been on identity, and it's just for us to just have this count to make sure that we are live. So the link to the count section will be sent to the chat. We are waiting for participants to join. We are waiting for participants to join. So we are waiting for participants to join. So please, the link for the count section has been sent to the chat. So please click on it to join the count section so you can participate in the quiz. Yeah. And if you have any question also, please drop in the chat box and we'll be able to attend to it. But first, let's have this conversation. So you can see the screen, you can see the pin. Just go to www.kahoot.it and the game pin is 1088023 and you'll be in. So that's all you basically need. So waiting for participants to join. So click the link. There's a giveaway for it, so it's a reward for listening and learning. There's a giveaway for it where there's a prize at the end. So I can see Eunice has joined. You can see Eunice have joined. I'm waiting for others to join also. Waiting for others to join. Yeah, so we are waiting for more persons to join. And also, just an announcement as regards last week's session. We had a winner who has not reached out to get their prize. So please do well to reach out to the AWS leader. The winner from last week was Yemisi. So Yemisi, please do well to, if you are in this call or if you find a way to come across this, do well to reach out to the AWS community security user group admin or use leaders to get your prize. Yeah, I can also see CJ has joined also, so just waiting for some other persons to join. Yeah, I see CJ has joined. So let's just give some minutes, not minutes, some seconds rather, for us to join the session. Okay, waiting for one last person to join. Okay, I think I'll go on to start the session so we are not behind time. So I just want to confirm if you can see my screen, can you put it on the chat? If you can see the screen, can you put it on the chat? You can see. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yes, we can see your screen. So I'm starting the Kahoot right now. So it rewards the fastest and most correct answers. So in three, two, one. So the first question. Okay. So what does Amazon Guard Duty do? So option A, B, C, and D. So choose your answer. What does Amazon Guard Duty do? Let's see who gets it and who is the fastest. Okay. The answer is continuously monitor accounts for malicious and unauthorized activity. So who got that right? Let's see. Oh, Eunice got that right and also was the fastest. So let's move on. That's good. Congratulations, Eunice. We are not done. We have 5 questions, so it's not over. And these are the top three for now. Let's see who gets the next question. What format does Security Hub use to normalize findings from different sources? What format does Security Hub use to normalize findings from different sources? Okay. ASFF, that's AWS Security Findings Format. Nobody got this. It was mentioned during the class, so I think it's needed for us to have listened properly. So Eunice is still on the scoreboard because the second one was missed. So let's move on to the third question. Let's move on to the third question. Let's move on to the third question. Please, if you've not joined Kahoot, I don't know if you can still join, but we have the third question up, which says which setup would automatically isolate a compromised EC2 instance the moment a finding appears? Which setup? Okay, and the answer is man, a lambda function triggered by an event bridge rule, which I'm not sure anybody also got. So let's move on to the fourth question. Let's move on to the fourth question. Which of these is a recommended best practice from this section? Which of these is a recommended best practice from this section? So the clock is ticking. Okay, that's correct. Enable guard duty across every account and region using AWS organization, which is the correct option, and that was what was chosen. Okay, I think that's question four. We will also move on to question five, which is our final question. And Eunice is leading by a good margin. Let's see. Our fifth and final question. What is Amazon Event Bridge primarily used for in this pipeline? What is it mainly used for? Is it for storing log files, a serverless event bus, running SQL queries, encrypting S3 buckets? Amazon Event Bridge. What is it mainly used for? It was mentioned during the class and during the training. So if you've listened, okay, very correct. A serverless event bus that routes events to target based on rules. That is the correct answer. So let's see who got it and what the answer is. So the third is Temi, the second is CJ, and the first position, let's see, is Eunice. So Eunice is the first position for today's series. And congratulations, Eunice. Congratulations, Eunice. A big congratulations to you for winning the series, the Couts questions series for today. Thank you. So please, Eunice, reach out to, you can drop your email or your details on the chat, or you can reach out to us by our email at AWS Cloud Security user group to claim your gift and there's a prize. So please do well to reach out to us. Thank you so much, Eunice. I think we can head back to our class and the session. Yeah.
Okay, congratulations to the winner, Eunice. I bet she was paying attention. And I think there was a second place, Temi. Congratulations to Temi
Yeah.
as well.
Me and
Um,
CJ.
yes, CG as well. Thank you guys for participating in the conversation. Um, okay, so just to round up, just continue sharing my screen. I have about 3 more slides to finish this up, and then we'll call it the. Okay. Okay, I see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Can see your screen clearly.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. So, okay, yeah. So, beginning do's and don'ts, at least things to do and things to avoid. So, I'll be picking on the things that are most important rather than all of the items there. I'll pick based on um, what I should stress as for a beginner, and then things that you should actually take note of. So guard duty doesn't block anything by itself. You should know that first off, right? And for the second, never auto remediate on low severity findings. Very important because you end up disrupting healthy systems and losing your team's trust in the automation. So you need to pay attention. Findings to Slack teams even before you automate remediation. So treating the default event bus as the only option, custom buses isolate noise. Then also turn on security hubs. This is something you should do. Turn on security hubs across region aggregation for one true dashboard. One thing you should not do is auto remediating. Okay, I mentioned that. And ignoring security hubs for finding and compliance check costs at scale. You should avoid doing that because it helps you to know your position per time as an organization. Okay, next one. So a recap: detect with guard duty, aggregate with security hub, and then automate with EventBridge. I don't know if anyone would like to repeat that after me. Can anyone speak? Is anyone allowed to speak on the platform?
Now just us from the back end.
Okay, all right, no problem. So here we have a quote from Bruce Schneier, the security technologist. Amateurs hack systems, professionals hack people. Detection has to cover identity and behavior, not just malware signatures. Exactly what guard duties and normally models do. And the other quote says, speed is the new currency of cybersecurity. This is a known this is a known fact across the cybersecurity. Can you still hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Can hear you
Okay.
clearly.
All right, cool. So this is the whole point of wiring EventBridge into the pipeline. Minutes of response time instead of hours. Again, to emphasize, that's the whole session in one sentence. You detect with guard duty, aggregate with security hub, and then automate with event bridge. And this is the final slide. I would like to thank the organizers, the moderator, and everyone who attended. The moderator here is Samuel.
Yeah,
Um,
thank
I
you.
also like to, yeah, I also like to point to the resource links. Okay, so I've not embedded any link here, but if they will be needed, so these are like resources that you can actually look up on the internet, right, to read up for these tools. I'd like to ask if anyone has any question, please go ahead, drop them
So
in the chat
please,
box
if
so we
you
can
have
actually begin to.
questions, I think there's a question from Chukwebuka. I don't know where you share the link. I use the code, but the quiz isn't. Oh, okay. That's as regards the code. Sorry about that, Chukwebuka. It's I don't know, but the code should have also worked. So sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So, does anyone have any question before we call it a day? While we still have our guests available to answer the questions and shed more light. If anything feels not clear or you're not certain about something, you can ask now? Yeah. Okay. If there is no question, um, okay, I'm not seeing any questions. So I also want to reiterate what our speaker Kachi has said. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Mr. Kachi, for such an insightful section on identity and security. I have a lot of homework to also do to practice and put all of this in practice. And thank you once again, AWS Cloud Security Group, for this opportunity. So we'll be here again next Saturday and every following Saturday for more insightful section on cloud and security. Thank you everyone for joining. It has been an awesome time here. And once again, congratulations to Eunice. Please do well to reach out to us, to the class security. Just send an email to the email listed, and to follow us on all our social, you can use the link tree that has been posted. You will see it's linktree/AWS CloudSec. AWS Sec West Africa to follow us on our socials. And also, we mentioned from last week, we had the winner from last week who is here to reach out. So please do well to reach out. That's trying to confirm the name again. That's Yemisi. Please, Yemisi, do well to reach out to get your prize. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone. And it's been an amazing time to moderate this session. Once again, I'm Samuel Joseph, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Samuel. Bye, everyone. Thank you.